Second Missionary Journey, Part 12. These rocks at Antioch tell the story of Paul and Silas and the second missionary journey. Traveling overland, they called upon the churches in Syria and Cilicia. I think they were so happy to see their old friends. Then the contention became so sharp that they parted from one another, and so Barnabas took Mark and sailed to Cyprus. But Paul chose Silas and departed, being commended by the brethren to the grace of God. And they went through Syria and Cilicia, strengthening the churches. Doubtless they visited the believers in Paul's hometown of Tarsus and Cilicia. Arriving at the area of Derbe and Lystra, Paul found another traveling companion, Timothy, a young man of good reputation. He didn't want to take a Mark with him, a drop-outer. He wanted Timothy. His mother was a Jewish and his father a Greek. Then he came to Derbe and Lystra, and behold, a certain disciple was there named Timothy, the son of a certain Jewish woman who believed, but his father was a Greek. Paul wanted to have him go on with him, and he took him and circumcised him because of the Jews who were in that region, for they all knew that his father was a Greek. We should be careful, Paul says. From Derbe and Lystra, Paul and his fellow missionaries went through the cities, informing the churches of the decisions arrived at by the Jerusalem Council. This is the new rule, dear friends. You don't have to be circumcised. From Derbe and Lystra, Paul and his fellow missionaries went through the cities, informing the churches of the decisions arrived at by the Jerusalem Council. These decrees, declaring that the Gentiles were not required to observe the ceremonial law, doubtless had much to do with the subsequent growth of the church in that region. They saw great success. So the churches were strengthened in the faith and increased in number. Paul and his companions next traveled throughout Phrygia and the region of Galatia. Now when they had gone through Phrygia and the regions of Galatia, they were forbidden by the Holy Spirit to preach the word in Asia. It was at this time that the church to which the Galatian epistle was addressed was established. It was consequently during this itinerary that Galatia that Paul was stricken with infirmity of the flesh, to which he referred to in Galatians 4 verse 13. You know that because of physical infirmity, writing to the Galatians, I preached the gospel to you at the first, and my trial which was in my flesh, you did not despise or reject, but you received me as an angel of God, even as Christ. Paul planned next to do evangelistic work in the area west of Galatia, known that time as Asia, but was forbidden to do so by the Holy Spirit. You see, I think with the fight he had with poor Barnabas, he was not quite ready to preach the gospel. And God gives us a time. The Holy Spirit said, no, Paul, wait a while. Let's carry on. Now when they had gone through Phrygia and the region of Galatia, they were forbidden by the Holy Spirit to preach the word in Asia. Consequently, he and his companions turned toward Mysia in the northwest, intending to enter the region of Bithynia and preach there. But these plans were also thwarted by the Spirit. You know, let the Spirit lead us. Sometimes we are not ready to do the work of the Lord. And He is patient with us. So Paul had to get rid of his anger, his disappointment in Mark. after they had come to Mysia, they tried to go into Bithynia, but the Spirit did not permit him. The Spirit said, no, my friends, you're not going there. So they bypassed Bithynia and Mysia and continued their journey until they came to the city of Troas, on the shore of the Aegean Sea. They couldn't go any further. And this is where God met him. At Troas, Paul's labors were turned to a new challenging field. In a night vision, it was both a physical night and a spiritual night. In a night vision, he was urged by a man of Macedonia to bring the gospel to that country. You know, God knows the future. There were not too many converts where he was working. He had to go to Greece. So passing by Mysia, they came down to Troas, and a vision appeared to Paul at night, and a man of Macedonia stood and pleaded with him, saying, come over to Macedonia and help us. Actually, it was a woman. Immediately, he and his companions prepared to answer the call, which they recognized as being from God. This time, the Holy Spirit did not stop him. He knew God was going to use him somewhere else. Now, after he had seen the vision, immediately we sought to go to Macedonia, concluding that the Lord had called us to preach the gospel to them. Boarding a ship bound for Neapolis in Macedonia, that's Greece, they arrived at the city on the second day. Therefore, sailing from Troas, we ran a straight course to Samothrace, and the next day came to Neapolis, and from there to Philippi, which is the fourth-most city of that part of the Macedonia, a colony, and we were staying in that city for some days. Next time we will follow the two missionaries to Philippi, where they sang in prison. You're going to enjoy that. Thank you for watching this presentation. To subscribe to our channel, click here, then click the bell to get notifications. For the next presentation, click here. See you next time.